Shall we get a move on? Aaliyah asked. The day's a wastin', so let's all go get wet already. Where to first? She looked very pointedly at Marinette as she asked this, and Marinette realized she was already expected to take the lead. Ah. She looked around, taking in all the attractions as quickly as possible. Quick, just pick one. Ah. The water slides. Yeah, the water slides. How about the water slides? Does that sound good to everybody? Sounds great. Adrian said cheerfully. Let's go. Tilda. Well, this is one way to minimize my exposure to the sight of shirtless Adrian, Marinette reflected as she led the way up the stairs to the water slides. If I stay at the front of the group, I can't see him, so I won't get distracted. But as long as I am here, why should I deny myself the view? Unable to help herself, she glanced over her shoulder, and there he was, that beautiful, beautiful boy, craning his neck this way and that to take in the view of the aquatic center from up high. God, what she wouldn't give to put her hands all over that, to press kisses all over that lovely neck of his. Marinette. Marinette jumped. Adrian had noticed she had stopped going up the stairs, and he was looking up at her questioningly. She quickly fixed what she hoped was a not weird-looking smile on her face. He. Sorry, I just, spaced out. She stammered. Actions. Kudos. Comments. After text. It's okay. Adrian smiled at her reassuringly. Goodness knows, I've sure been spacing out a lot recently. He glanced down shyly. Hesitantly, Marinette started climbing again, but slowly, her eyes still on Adrian. She smiled back at him. We can be spacey together, then. She thought back to her conversation with Aaliyah and Nino about Adrian's mysterious troubles and wondered if Adrian knew any better why he'd been feeling and acting the way he'd been. She wondered if she'd get the chance to ask him about it. Would he feel comfortable talking to her about it? Now's not the place or the time for that. She reminded herself. Stay focused on this date, Marinette. Once they reached the top, Marinette chose a water slide and sat on the rim ready to slide down as soon as the lifeguard gave her the okay. They all end up in the same pool, she informed Adrian, so I'll see you at the bottom. The lifeguard gave her the go-ahead nod, and she pushed herself forward and slid down out of sight. Adrian walked over to the guard rails and leaned forward to look down and locate the pool where the water slides ended. Sure enough, Marinette came sailing out of one of them into the water about 30 seconds later. He watched her get out of the water and then she turned to look up. And waved at him with a big smile on her face. The sight filled him with a bubbly giddiness that caught him a little off guard with its intensity. He couldn't help but grin and wave back. You gonna go down the slide or what? Nino asked him from behind, chuckling. Actions. Kudos. Comments. Next. Whoops. Adrian laughed sheepishly and hurriedly got back at the front of the line. Tilda. So. Live up to your expectations? Aaliyah asked Adrian as they headed for the wave pool. Awesome. Adrian gushed. I would have loved for them to be faster, but I get they need to be safe for almost all ages. You speak for all of us, dude. Nino said, nodding enthusiastically. You'll like the river rapids and whirlpool even more, then. Marinette piped up. If you let yourself float, the water will push you down the river, kinda slowly, compared to the water slides, but you can swim with the current to go faster. That sounds so cool, I can't wait. Adrian said with a grin. Marinette giggled and beamed at him. It feels great to see him happy and having fun with us, she thought. Maybe I can actually get this date to work out the way we hoped. As Marinette's feet touched the beginning of the gradual slope down into the water, she stumbled slightly. Adrian's hands were there instantly to steady her. Careful. He held her hands as she slowly straightened out her posture, her eyes fixed on him as if hypnotized. You good? Yeah, thanks, she managed to utter, with a smile. It was a miracle she managed to say anything. Her heart was currently doing death-defying gymnastics in her chest. Actions. Kudos. Comments. Adrian had almost forgotten his earlier worries about getting all up in Marinette's personal space, and now, all of a sudden, it felt natural, it felt right, to stay close to her, and instead of worrying about whether he might be intruding on her personal space or touching her too easily, he only caught himself wishing he and Marinette could be alone together. And he wasn't even sure why. I just feel drawn to her, he thought. Could it really be okay for me to feel anything like this for her, while I still love Ladybug? Am I really just overcomplicating things in my head the way Plag thinks I am? Love, maybe the only word I can think of used to label this feeling, too, but it all still seems so complicated whenever I stop to think about it. If he could only have heard the thoughts going through Marinette's head, the poor boy might have actually been relieved by how uncomplicated hers were. Please feel free to touch me more often from now on, Adrien, however you want, or kiss me, you could do that, too. Predictably, her eyes wandered to his lips, and while she knew how incredibly weird it would be to start making out in the middle of a public pool of all places, she wanted to throw her arms around him and kiss him senseless. Splash. Marinette and Adrien both jumped as they had their legs splashed. They both turned and immediately identified Aaliyah as the perpetrator by her sly smirk and raised eyebrows. Hate to ruin the moment, but you two are gonna gather an audience if you start kissing in the middle of the pool. Get in the water, losers. Actions. Kudos. Comments.